For the past year, I have been taking part in the Travelling Man painting competitions. The way it works is you buy a box for £20 to £25. It includes 1 miniature, 4 paints, 1 pack of scenery, and some sweets. All the contents is random, so the challenge is to see how well you can do with just those 4 colours, plus black and white, to paint your miniature. So far, the themes have been an Age of Sigmar miniature, a Blood Bowl miniature, and a Warhammer 40k miniature. The current theme seems to be anything GW. Let's see what I got.
The hope is no, this is a very dead knife. No 40k, I want some fantasy. That's upside down for That's better. Here's the rules of engagement. Sponsors, that's pretty cool. Cathay Jade Warrior, oh, that's sick. That's so cool. It's a shame there's not a whole lantern in here, isn't it, really? Wouldn't that be cool? Let's have a look at this then. Wazdakka Red, that's a red I don't have, which is nice. Radiant Flesh, Glowing Inferno, and Frog Green. I don't have any of these paints, for a change. That's really nice. And I didn't get Screamer Pink. I always get Screamer Pink. Pin badge, which is cool. It's nice to have a little memento. Oh, sweets, they'll go to someone else in the house. I'm a savoury boy. Give me a pack of olives next time, please. What have I got? Fields of New Zealand. Not quite Cathay, but we can work with that. Who's excited? I'm excited. Let's do this. Let's make this man, paint him, and show you. I'm very excited.
Not sure what the twin-tailed comet was about, but hey-ho, let's get into this thing. So you'll notice this isn't the miniature. This is the base. I like to do dioramas, as you can see. I started off with the first miniature just as it was, and then I got quickly into doing a little diorama. For this one, I found this classic piece of artwork here for Cathay. Really like it, so I thought I'd try and create something that was reminiscent of the artwork. Here I am gluing on some slate, claimed from a beautiful beach in Aberporth. You can see dolphins there, it's really nice. And making some stairs out of some foam board. There wasn't any schematics or anything, I just sort of stuffed stuff on to see where we got. You gotta vent sometimes. So this here is a big sheet of green stuff and milliput mixed together. I'm not entirely sure what the purpose is. I think you maybe get like the best of both worlds. You get the strength and rigidity of milliput and the pliability and working time of green stuff. I'm not sure what the good quality is of green stuff, if I'm honest. Anyway, I used it liberally here. Really sculpted out the whole shape. Tried not to get it all over the slate as best I could. And once I'd squished it all into place, I started to use a lollipop stick just to flatten out the stairs, get a bit of smoothness to all the edges. I'm quite happy with what I've got at this point, so I'm going to move on to some other bits. Here you see me cutting another type of lollipop stick. We eat a lot of these in our house. And these are going to be for the holes that you see in the picture. I don't know what they are. I guess they're markers. They're markers. That's what they are. And of course, my lovely Jade Warrior needs some stairs, and these are going to be the wooden planks for him to walk up and down. They're made of basswood, which I think is just like a cheaper alternative to balsa wood in the UK. Don't quote me on that. I'm not entirely sure, but it's very soft, very easy to cut, very easy to work with. I also used it for the frame you saw me working on earlier for the diorama. I didn't film that bit. Did I mention the competition only runs for an entire month? So you have to get your package, make your model, paint it, and get it up within that month. It's tricky, so be warned, I didn't film every part of this. Time for a little bit more assembly. Here I am putting the stairs on, figuring out which ones go where and how big they need to be. You can do it really quick if you just do it like this. There you go. I wanted to mark out where the poles are going to go, so they've got a spot to sink into. Also, don't forget to praise yourself every once in a while and show your partner.
That might be the best thing I've ever made.
It looks great.
Really got to fill this gap somehow, but that's not important.
She's so supportive. Now it's time to smack on some paint. As true to the competition, I even paint the diorama base in the same way I paint the miniature. It only uses the paints that come in the box, and black and white. I don't think this is entirely necessary because you aren't graded on the base at all. You'll see I avoid the stairs as I paint this all black, and eventually I paint the stairs anyway, and I think it works out for the better. You'll see. I mixed some of the paints together that I got in the box, and luckily for me there's an orange and a green and a red, and when you put them together you get brown. And with brown and a little bit of white, I can bring up the values to get a nice overall earthy gradient. You'll see me use this brown a lot when I paint the miniature as well. I think that's the trick to these competitions. See if you can make a brown, everything else is golden. Not literally, obviously, unless you got a golden paint. So I suppose literally in that case. This is a good time to talk about the fact I sculpted a little stone shrine thing out of milliput. Didn't film all the sculpting, sorry. But as I said before, there's only a month to finish the whole competition, so time is tight. But here's me gluing it together. This is a good advert for needing activator spray. Took me a long time to get this guy to stick together very well. I'm not sure if it's too real world to have one of these shrines. I think they're Japanese. But for me, as an English person, they remind me more of garden centres than anything else. But anyway, he's pretty cute. Glued him together, and I'll slap some paint on him using the paints from the box, as with every other part of the diorama, and he'll go on top of the little mountain. This might be my favourite part of this project, slapping on PVA all over the dirty bits, all over the ground of the diorama, getting into all the crevices and avoiding the rocks as best I can, rocks and stairs. In my box I also got this base-ready Fields of New Zealand by Geek Gaming Scenics basing material, and it's just talent in a tub, isn't it? Look at this. Let me show you. I think it's quite a beachy mix, but that's okay because we've got a dark painted undertone there with the browns, and it sort of comes through a bit, reduces the beach feel. This is an important step, I think. I've tipped it over and tipped all the excess off, and now I'm using a damp, maybe quite a wet brush, just to uncover the stairs, get some basing material off of the places I don't really want it, including the divots where the markers are going to go. I'm telling you, talent in a tub. We're finally into the miniature painting portion of this video. Apologies for one of the cameras being grainy. At this point, I was really running out of time, so I've rushed a bit. Excuses out of the way, let's have a look at what I did. So, I wanted to really highlight each colour in this miniature in a way that I don't think I have done on my previous entries. So for example, all of this under armour might seem quite black, but it's actually mixed with the frog green. And then the frog green will be used later for the accent fabrics around the suit of armour. I moved on to all the dragon scales and all of the main parts of armour using the Wazdakka Red. It's quite a pinky red, and he shifts in different light between being quite pink and quite red, which I think is really lovely. The brown is a good mix of the glowing Inferno, frog green, Wazdakka Red with a bit of black, and so all of the armour trim got a good coat of the brown, so that in a minute we can work it up using the glowing Inferno into a sort of golden metallic looking colour. I picked out all of the leather straps and tassels in black, give a nice bit of contrast over the whole form. And then I spent a very long time trying to paint little flowers on this bit of ribbon with the red mixed in with some white. It didn't work out. Freehand is not my strong suit. I gave it a good old college try. On his back ribbon, which you'll see later on, it does have one of the flowers left there. It looks quite pretty. It's the only one that worked out. Here you can see me working my way up through the brown into that glowing Inferno, then mixed with a bit of white to give some specular highlights on all of the armour trim, which I think came out way better than I anticipated. For the sword, I went for a classic sort of grey to white, adding in some non-metallic highlights to give the impression of a very shiny blade. The idea is to make gentle gradients positioned throughout the blade. I'm in no way a professional painter, but a little tip that I think works quite well is when you do these sorts of blades in non-metallic metal, is just to then follow up with a really sharp white edge highlight all over the blade. Really helps it stand out and look that little bit more shiny. For his hair, I used a thinned layer of black just so we can keep some of the white undertone coming through. Moved on to the face. I like to paint in the eyes before the skin and inevitably muck them up with my final paint, Radient Flesh, which I worked up from that brown into the base Radient Flesh colour. Really lovely tone. He has a real warmth to his skin. Finally, I did a big order from Green Stuff World, which I didn't realise was in Spain, which took too long to get here for this competition. I was getting nervous, I won't lie to you. So I've added some tufts and some flowers, just to tie the whole piece together. Obviously you're not grading on these, so I don't feel bad about putting them on. And all that leaves is our beauty shots. So please enjoy some very slow spins and some close-ups of my finished piece. If you're still here, thank you so much for watching, and please do like and subscribe and comment away. I'd love to have a chatting in the comments with people about the hobby. It's also really good to see the entries coming in on the socials. There's so many talented people that take part in this competition every single time. It's an absolute joy to be a part of, and I can't wait to be a part of the next one. See you there.